Hey all, Kurt Sasso here from Two Geeks Talking, the entertainment industry interview show where we interview the creative people from the comic, film, TV, movie, and video game industries. Of course, I'm your host. This is a different style interview than what you're probably used to in the past. This is a shorter interview. This is an edited interview to get the key points that Sharon is talking about. Our guest today is, of course, Sharon Belle, who starred in the Carmilla series, as well as Stepsisters, as well as the Swerve series, as well as she's been in Suits, and she's also been in, of course, the film that we are talking about called The Control. She plays the character Sophie. We talk about a number of great things during this interview, talking about her being an actor, her goals in life, as well as a variety of other questions, and how she interacted with the fellow cast members of Mike Stasko and, of course, Eric Schiller, who were both directors on this film as well, too. I can't thank them enough for letting me get to interview Sharon, and I can't wait for everyone to see the film The Control. That being said, here's a quick trailer for the movie itself, and enjoy it, and then you can skip on to the rest of the interview if you so choose. But really, you should watch the trailer because, it's a really cool concept and premise. Thanks, Sharon, again for the interview. I really appreciate it, and can't wait to see what you're doing in the future. Enjoy, everyone. Make sure you like and subscribe as well to the channel. It makes me happy if you do. Leave a comment as well.
Hey, my name is Sharon Belle, and I play Sophie in The Control, coming to theaters soon.
You do realize your team is the bottleneck. Your progress has been intolerable. Wake up all the subjects and send them home. We're changing tacks. We need your help.
What did you have in mind?
Could you tell me a little about what I'm signing up for?
It's like a series of computer programs.
If you can give me open-ended programs, I can maintain the chemistry, provided you spread the stimulation across the whole brain.
It would have to be something magnitudes more complex than any cutting-edge video game or VR.
You gotta wonder what it'd be like to be stuck in there. We're on a deadline. If it doesn't work for me, I go to prison, at best.
You're gonna tell me that it's all in my head? Okay, that everything's fine? I know the difference.
It's okay to forget. Just try to focus on the here and now.
How did you hear about The Control?
Well, it was one of my friends, Chris, who is actually in a writing group with Eric. And so Chris Facebooks me and says, my friend's working on this project. I think you'd be really great. You should submit for it. So I found it, I submitted, but he also recommended me to Eric. So there's kind of already that connection even before I went into the room. And apparently I got recommended to Mike as well by someone else. So there's all this like this connection of people that we knew that it was just funny when I came in. It's like we kind of knew each other already. It was strange. So anyways, yeah, so I walk in and I was the first one to audition and we were just like, I know you. And then the audition happened and I got it.
What part exactly are you playing in the film?
I'm playing Sophie. She's a computer programmer, and she's kind of punky and cool and laid back. I like her.
Have you ever played a role similar to that?
No. As far as roles go, I usually end up doing roles that are very similar to myself. Like the last role I did, I'm very like goofy and athletic, and then the role before that I was like this awkward teenager, and these are all like very easy to tap into for me. Yeah, this is very different. Cool and punky are like not words I would use to describe myself.
Are you tapping into Sophie after as long as you've been on set here for? Is it finally like coming a character that you can use in the future?
I think it is. It's funny when you're playing a character long enough that it's just like bits and pieces of these characters, they start to influence you as well. It's kind of like when you hang out with a friend for a long time, or you hang out with them every day, and you start to like laugh like them, and you start to pick up little things that they say. It's very similar to that. So every day you're being this character, but you're also kind of just like getting to know them, and you're hanging out with them. So it starts, bits and pieces of them start to bleed into your own life. So it'll definitely be easier to tap into in the future.
You take a look at Sophie, the role of Sophie in itself. This character has a very complex structure, a very complex character in her own right. You know, she has the punky aspect of it, but she also has a caring side of it as well too. What is it like interacting with Mike on set?
As the character, you mean? Like as Sophie interacting with Mike? It's funny because when Mike is Mike in the movie, he's so weird. He's just like he just kind of like sits there and like says his lines. There's this when he's just like sitting there. He's like, "I really like you. I really like talking to you," and I'm like, "Really?" Because it doesn't look like it. But it's funny because Sophie's always the one who's like reaching out, and yes, she's very tough on the exterior, but she's just got a big heart, and she's really caring, and she craves human connection. So even this guy who's like super awkward and reserved, you know, it's funny. It's just I'm always like reaching out to him. I'm like trying to have this conversation or this connection, and sometimes it's a little tough because usually in my everyday life, if I'm you know, someone doesn't really want to talk to me, I'm like, that's okay, then I don't have to talk to you, and clearly we don't get along. But she's also very curious, you know, so I think she feels this resistance in Mike, so she's like, what is that? You know, she tries to like dig deeper and find, you know, how can she break down that wall. It's great because when we're doing a scene and, you know, Sophie can actually make Mike laugh, it's kind of like, yes! Did it!
Drawing upon being an actor, what got you into the wonderful world of entertainment?
In grade 6, when I started playing the saxophone and I got really good at it, I mean, I like being really good at things, but I also like the performing aspect of it. And like in elementary school, I auditioned for the school play and I didn't get it. So, you know, that was fine because I had music, and then I did grade 9 and 10 music, and I was still really into it. And then I was like, you know, I'm just going to try out for the High School Musical again, like see if I get in. And I got in the chorus, and I just loved the community of it, and it was just so much fun. And I mean, I wasn't the star or anything, but I just loved how it felt, you know, being on stage with a group of people. Kind of similar to being in a band, you know. You have when you're doing a piece of theater, you are like a band. You're like together, like standing strong, performing for people's enjoyment. And so I continued to audition and get roles in high school plays, community plays. I stopped playing music because my interests had switched, and then grade 11. Yeah, grade 11. Everyone's kind of like, you have to decide what you want to do with your life, and I was like, well, like, I guess people act for a living. Like, I'd like to do that. So I applied to school, and I wanted to go to Windsor University for theater. I'm not kidding. It was my number one choice. I'm not just making this up here. I visited the campus like 3 times. I visited classes. I talked to teachers. I was like, how do I get into this school? Because I want to go here, and I wanted to so badly. And then I didn't get in, and it was like out of a movie. Sometimes those dramatic moments happen in your life, and you're like, am I in a movie? Because I got the letter, and when you get a letter and not a package from a university that you didn't get in. So I got the letter, and I was like, but you still have to open it anyways. And it was like, I just crumbled on the floor, and I was like on my knees on my driveway, like crying, just like into the sky, just so upset. It was a big moment. But so I didn't get into any theater schools, but I got into film schools. So that's something I never really considered, because it's not something that you're really exposed to in high school. So I went to Humber College for film. I was like, all right, I'll go here. Don't really want to, but I want to go to school, so I'll do it. And then I graduated feeling like I had the best education I could ever have. And from that point, I was set that I wanted to do film. So it's my long journey. Yeah.
You're coming in obviously with a lot of knowledge in the film industry, as well as the fact that you've been on a few web series. How do you think the fan reaction will be to this particular role that you're playing compared to others that you've played in the past?
As far as movie genres go, I mean, everyone loves sci-fi thriller, like everyone. So I think it's definitely gonna cater to a wide audience. So I think lots of people are gonna like it. I think Sophie's a very likable character. I think they're gonna like her. I think it'll be very well received. Yeah.
Everyone has that one person that inspired them on the path to where you are today. Who was that for you?
I don't think I have a one person. This sounds... I'm trying to think. This sounds kind of cheesy. It sounds kind of scripted. It's not. I mean, many actresses influenced me. I mean, like, Sigourney Weaver's a big one. Just such strong characters, and you tend to relate more with people that are a little similar to you, and it was kind of the height thing. You feel people see me and they're like, oh, you should be a model. Are you a model? No one ever says like, oh, are you an actor? It's not something that people think I do. And it's hard because when you're acting, you're always, most of the time you're paired up with someone. And it's just a thing that, they just like their ladies shorter and daintier than the men. So that's usually something that I have trouble being placed in. They see me and they have trouble pairing me with people. So it was those strong female actresses like Sigourney Weaver and Uma Thurman that really inspired me. But the cheesy part I was gonna say was there was never just like one actress, but someone who like really like pushed me and inspired me to do what I wanted to do was my mom. My mom. She's a guidance counselor. She was a guidance counselor at my high school, so she toured around all the campuses with me. She knew any career I could have gone into, you know. She just laid out all my options for me, like every single one. Like, she's thorough. And she was like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I was like, I think I want to make a go at acting. And she was like, are you sure? And I said yes. And she just told me to go for it. If I wanted to do it, just go in 100% and succeed, you know? She just believed in me, and that's all. I think that's all you that's all you really need to like be definite in this industry, is you need someone to believe in you. And I didn't know if I believed in me that earlier on, but my mom did, so that meant a lot.
You've had a lot of success in your professional life when it comes to the web series that you've done with Carmilla, and I think this film itself will be a huge success in its own right with the various actors that we have, including yourself. Do you consider yourself personally successful?
No. I don't know. It's a weird question. You know, some people ask me, oh, are you a professional actor? I want to say no, because I don't feel like one. Am I successful for my age and experience? I guess I'm doing okay. Would I like to be Jennifer Lawrence? Okay, yes. So it's tough to answer, because there's so many people my age that are so much further in their career right now, and I'm a very ambitious person, so I strive to be there, to be one of the best. And I mean, I guess at my age I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than lots, so it's something I need to remember. My mom's always putting me in perspective, and she's like, well, Sharon, based on your graduating class, because that's a group of peers that are at the same experience level as you, you know, those are people that you can compare yourself to, because they've been exposed to the same thing you have. How are you doing compared to them? Compared to them, I think I'm doing pretty good. So, you know, and I keep like a ledger of like all the projects I do every single year, and like how long they last and how much I make, and it is getting longer and longer every year. So it's just all about perspective. So, I mean, I guess I'm doing okay. The question comes like full circle. It starts like, this is how I feel, but yeah, you know,
This is the reality.
It's all right, yeah.
How do you deal with your failures?
I do pretty good, to start. So I'll get a couple jobs like this. I just did Carmilla, I'm doing this movie, I'm doing a web series right after this called Couplish. You know, I'm feeling on top of the world. After all this ends, you know, I'm gonna be back in the audition room, and I'm a pretty positive person, so I can hold strong for a long time, like a few months, like I'm usually good for about like 5-6 months with no work if I'm like auditioning strong. But after a few months you start to question yourself. You start to think like, am I a bad actor? So it's really, you just gotta take it in strides, and again, like, put it in perspective, and you just gotta remember the people you've worked with and why they chose you. You know, they wouldn't have picked you if you're a crummy actor. You need to focus on your successes and not your failures. Keep your head on straight. Like, for this project, it was the first one in the audition room, and then they called me later on that day. They were like, you have the part, You had the part before we saw anyone else. You were perfect. You know. I don't think they would have hired me if I was a crummy actor. So you just got to think of those conversations and those successes. So yeah, I mean, failure sucks. But I mean, it makes you stronger for sure.
The younger generation are looking towards you as an inspirational person. Obviously, with Carmilla, you have a huge audience in that regard in terms of the LGBT community. They're seeing you as an inspirational person. How can they inspire the generation that follows them?
I'm trying to think how to answer that. I mean, the kind of thing I think those people look up to me for is kind of similar to the same thing I looked up to other actresses for, and that's for representation. You know, whether it's strong female roles or good LGBTQ content. You know, it's about representing who you are. And I think what they admire about what we've been doing with Carmilla is that we've created these characters that are role models for them. And they see these strong women, these women that are leading this show, and they see us, and I hope they know that they can do that too if they want one day. You know, not just in acting, but in their life. I hope that they see that and they know that they can take anything they want if they want it hard enough, you know, and they can do anything they want. And I hope that confidence in them, I hope that that's what inspires, you know, the next younger generation. I still have trouble accepting that, I don't know, people know me, I guess. Like, one person came up to me one time and they were like, "I'm a huge fan." I was like, "Of what?" They were like, "Carmilla and everything else you've done." I was like, "Oh, you've seen that?" Like, it's still hard for me to even like understand that some people look up to me. It's a weird thing to digest. So asking me what do they take from me that they can teach other people? I'm like, I'm just a person. Like, what are you looking up to me for? You know, so it's kind of, it's a funny question. Yeah.
You know, those that are going to be watching this film, those that are looking at you as Sophie in this wonderful production, is there anything you want to share with them, you know, at the end of this particular interview?
I'm just really excited for you guys to see the movie. It's something I personally am really proud of. I can't wait to watch it. It's one of those movies that I know you're going to have to watch like 2 or 3 times, or I will have to anyway. So yeah, I can't wait for it to start rolling out.